was thinking this morning that depending on your punishment, you sat either on the first step or the one all the way at the top, depending on the degree of your offense. But there's another memory with those steps, and that is that this fine woman would sit us down on those steps and tell stories until we were just brought to tears. And she would not be satisfied until she had brought us to tears. And she had that quality, and she could do it very well. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote for dearest Edna of Colorado. And I want to say, too, that one of the stories that I enjoy hearing from Edna, Mom Edna, is the story that she and my Aunt Lena, sitting in the back, witnessed my birth. And they often tell me about that. Primarily on my birthday, they recount that event. And there's a story about a can of, what was it? Fruit cocktail. I won't tell that story. Maternal harvests, through ages ancient, through times eternal, in phoenix-like flight, you courageously soar through winds of historic lore. With stern gracefulness, you wave tall, early grasses, proud, sacred origins, strongly embraced even today. Your daring ancestral hands collect vanilla beans, peel cinnamon bark, harvest cocoa seeds. Now you, as those before you, again embrace primitive winds of earth's lasting promises, pilgrims rising, flying through prophetic dreams. Yourself, secular, serene, going as you have always, knowing where you have to be, touching those within your reach, rekindling all souls you meet. Come on, man.
Growing up, we, in the times in our old house, it was a two-story, old, unpainted wooden house, but so much love, so much love. We learned from that. I'm from a big family. Had we all lived, it would have been 15. But God bless my mother and father with 10 of those 15 children that lived. And those times growing up, my father had his ritual. Every Sunday, the first Sunday, he would read the Bible and talk about it. The thing about my father, he couldn't read or write till he met my mother, and she taught him, but he only read the Bible. People were sticklers for the Bible. And the second Sunday, it was how to live with people. He said you will meet all kinds of people in your life as you grow. Black, white, all other ethnic groups. They will not think the way you think or act the way you act. They will not worship the way you worship. But every man worships the one God, and he does it in his own way. And we must respect that. So when we left home, we was correct. We did meet all kinds of people and respect them for what they did and have friends, all walks of life. My mother I have to tell you this. Daddy had a big mouth and he could talk. Oh my God, they called him preacher. And I inherited that. I never stopped talking. But my father says a man who talks and has something to say, that someone could take what they say and use it and make his life better, he's a wise man. But the man who just gabbles about everything, he's a fool. Follow him not. Now, mother, on the other hand, was a quiet woman. She always had something to do. I remember my mother always washing. Oh, God, the woman washed every single day, all day. And she cooked. And there was always a baby at our house. Oh, God, so much love, so much love. So our bringing up was wonderful. But my mother was a great storyteller. Oh, and my aunt, she told stories because she was afraid of staying alone at night. So she told us all these stories. Now, I'm going to change my stories around because I'm going to tell you a story like she would tell us. Now, this is for the kids. Feline meets man. Now, there was a forest at the foot of a high mountain. And in that forest, there lived all kinds of animals. And there was a bear and old rabbit. So he's walking along and Feline gets up in the morning. He goes, me and myself, ooh, me and myself. And all the little kids so afraid. Ooh, ooh. And little rabbits couldn't feed their little babies in the morning. Oh, Feline roaring like a great big idiot. Hey, me and myself. So they're walking along and they meet the bear and the rabbit. So the rabbit says, you know what? I think Feline should meet man. He says, oh no, I'm not going near man. Not me. He says, no, we're going to have Feline go. So they're walking along. Oh, Feline, he's just roaring, beating his chest and walking down the road. He comes around. So he meets up with the rabbit, meets up with the bear. He says, what you doing here in the morning? He looks at the bear and he licks his lips. He says, who's your friend? He says, oh, this is Brer Rabbit. He turned his head. That old rabbit's not important to talk about because he's too little. So the rabbit says, Mr. Feline, have you seen man? What I want to see man for? He says, well, we're going down the road and we don't want to meet man. He says, who is he? I want to see him. I've never seen him. This is my forest. Me, myself. So he said, well, he lives down at the bottom of the hill. We'll show you. So they're walking down the hill, walking down the road, and the little rabbit says, Bear, now you get ready, because man will be long here in a minute. So they walked and they came upon a little boy about 9 years old, and he was playing in the dirt. He looked up, he saw the lion, he ran, screaming and screaming. Oh, he said, that's man? Ha ha, put him on the run. He said, no, that's not man. That's what man gonna be. Yeah, he will be man. He's not man yet. Well, let's go. So he walks down the hill, walking and walking, and then he saw an old man sitting under the tree, and he's got his little stick, and he's sitting on this rock. He's resting for the next part of his journey. And he looked up, he saw the lion. Oh, he tried to run. He hip, he hopped, he falls in the water. Oh, lion just thought he was some me and myself, greatest me and myself. And the little rabbit says, he says, oh, if that's all man is? He said, oh, no, sir. That's man, what was. But we have beat man, but that's not him. So they're walking down the road, and pretty soon he sees the young man coming. He's got a gun on his shoulder, about 35 years old. He's walking tall and straight. Oh, he lion looked up, who's that? The rabbit said, oh, he lion, here come man. He says, well, ha, 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 with the others, he can't be very good. So he gets up and running down the road. The rabbit said, come on, Brer Bear, let's get behind the tree. And they did, and they're looking. And oh, he like going down the road. Oh, wow, wow, wow. And man looks up, he gets down on his knee, points that stick. Boom! He like it, he's like, oh, oh, oh. And he starts running. Bam! He gets him again. Oh, oh. When he gets to the tree, he says, oh, oh, quick, he lying, over here, over here. So they come over and they get on it, and he says, oh, oh, oh my, oh, oh, was that man? He says, he lying, you done met man. He says, man, he ain't nice. He didn't treat me kind. He treat me very bad. He points this stick at me, and all these wires come running out and hits me. And he said, boy, oh, I don't know. And so after that, he lion let all the little animals eat, and then he roars down the street. Me and myself, and man. Me and myself, and man. And from that day on, if you listen to a lion roar, he goes, ooh, ooh, and then he goes, ooh, ooh, at the end of it. Next time you listen, and you know why he does it. Now, being from Sanford and living here all of my life, my father, Preacher Wright, and his brother, Luke Wright, they were pretty well-known guys. Now, my Uncle Luke, they were great fighters before, and they could wrestle. But Uncle Luke was a carver. He always carried a knife. And they would call him the knife-toting Luke Wright. But he always carved from wood. You never saw him sitting without a piece of wood in his hand and carving. So when I had children, I was fortunate enough to have sons who learned to carve. My son LaVon carved these two little figures for me. He says, Mama, These are yours. Do with what you want. I looked at them and I said, Mother, this is what my son thinks of me. The red is for the life that God gave me, and he has that life. And it represents the vitality of people and how they are. The second is the purity of my love and mother's love for their children. I take these two little ladies with me whenever I do stories, so children can see and understand everything has meaning. And don't ever forget that. You see your mothers, you see your father, and you know they love you, whether they should or not. Now my son, growing up, was always picking up wood. He always picked it up. And he would stack them on the side of the house. And I said, Lord, have mercy. What is that boy gonna be? He turned out to make beautiful statues. He carves things from wood. And my older boy also did. Wood has meaning. Wood has life. You touch the wood before it is carved. My older boy used to sit and rub his hand over the wood. So what are you doing? It is the spirit of the wood and the tree. And that brought to me a feeling of love and a feeling and a touch with music. When I was a little girl, I always listened to Let's Pretend. You go beat da 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 da, singing a cream of wheat. Cream of wheat. I can't do it now, but it's every day. And one day, this story came on. And it is an old African proverb. Once a story is told, it is not your story any longer. It becomes the story of the person to whom you tell it. So, I listened to this about how music came to the world. It was kind of dull. So I'm going to tell you my version and what I understand. There was a time when man was so mean to one another. Fighting and fussing and fighting and war and just upheaval and not nice. And God said, I am tired of man and his disrespect for one another. So he reached down and he took the music from man. And they became meaner and just terrible. And they were killing the animals and killing the birds and just, they were out of hand. So all the animals got together. We've got to do something about man, says. He is so bad, he is going to destroy the whole world and himself. He's killing himself now. So he says, I know what will happen. The king of beasts says, I will find out where and what happened. So in the woods there was a ooh, 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 ooh. It was a wise old owl. He says, I know what happened. God took music from man. I will go, says the lion. I shall go to heaven and go and bring back the music. Said the wise old owl. You can't. You can't. You have no wings. So the eagle came. I am the king of birds. I will go. I will bring the music back. So the hawk says, no, you are too valuable. Let me go. I will bring it. So the old hawk takes off after the eagle gives him permission. And he goes flying. Up he went, through the clouds, high, high, high. He flew night and day, and still he flew. And he got so high, his wings were so weak, he couldn't lift them. So he fell and came back down. And he was so ashamed, he stayed out in the wilderness in a high, high tree. Now the little thrush who was hiding under the rock, he looks and she brings her nest and pulls it under the rock. And then she covers it with all straw to keep those eggs warm. And then she hopped on the bend on the rock and she waited. So the eagle says, Hawk is not coming back. I don't know where he is, but I am the king of birds and I shall go. So he raised his arms and he turned around so everybody could see his back and all his beautiful feathers shining and the sun flashing off of them. But he turned, and when he turned the second time, the little thrush climbed on his back, got under his wings, and nestled very close, and then closed her eyes and went to sleep. And the eagle took off. Scream! He flew around and around so everybody could see the power of his wings. He flew over the council rock and all the animals. He screeched and took off into the sky. Up, up, up he flew. Up he flew until he was just a tiny dot. And still he flew. And when he was tired, he rode the thermals of the wind softly and rolled and climbing higher and higher and higher. He was going to get to heaven. Oh, yes, because he was the king. Oh, for the glory of birds. Ha ha! The glory of birds. I will bring this music back and birds will forever be honored. Ha ha! And he flew. Oh, he flew. But he flew in the air. He couldn't breathe. Oh, what did I do? He started to fall down, down, down. And the little thrush woke and flew from his wings. He was so tired he didn't even feel it. And the little bird flew. Oh, she took off. And she flew. How many days, how many years, she did not know. But she flew on, and it was dark, and there was no light. She couldn't see, but still she flew straight, up. But she too became tired. Oh, I'm so tired. And she started to fall. She said, oh God, please, don't let me fall. It is not for the glory of birds, but it is the soul of man. He's weak, Lord. He will die. He will kill everything. Please. Oh, said the bird. And he flew, tried to fly, and the tears fell down his eyes. God reached down and scooped up the tears and held them in the palm of his hand. And he felt the love and innocence that one little bird had for the soul of man. And he threw them, and they went and stuck into the sky. And today we have stars that are the tears of the bird. And then the bird heard it. Tinkle, tinkle. He forgot to be tired. What was that noise? And then he heard the heavenly choir. And they sang, Gloria, 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 Gloria. And then the heavenly harps and the sound of the violin and the cello and the trumpet and the soft sounds of drums and the singing of angels, and the light was there, and the bird flew round and round, and all the music wrapped, and he flew down from heaven soon over the cities and over the towns, and the people went, oh, I feel so wonderful. Where am I? And he flew over the church, and the old priest is trying to bring back life to his people, and suddenly the sermon was written. Glory, glory be to God. I have the words, yes. And the bird flew. Every place he flew, there was light and beauty, and all the ugliness and the bad feelings washed away. And he flew over the forest and over the birds, and they took up the song and carried it on and carried it on and on. And the little bird slowly went down, and she crept back to her nest. She pulled it from under the rock, put the straws away, and she slowly went to sleep. And we have music ever since because of one little bird who could love. It'll happen to you. All you have to do is love. Love means trusting, forgiving, and just be kind and respectful. That's how music came to the world.